Hello, I'm so happy I got a hold of you. Welcome back to another exciting episode of Lucious Showcase. I am Lucious T, and welcome to 16-bit RPG month. And we're starting off with a lot of people's favorite game of all time, Chrono Trigger. Now, this is a game that has eluded me my whole life. Pretty much my biggest regret in gaming was not picking this up when I was a kid. I had a best friend that told me to get it, said it was better than Link to the Past, and because he said that, I avoided buying it, and it never was cheaper than, I want to say, $70 or $80 new. And now, damn, you can't even buy the cart for that much on any of the systems, maybe PlayStation. Is it a great game, though? We already know it is. Let's just see how much I love it.
There's a lot of games out there, some of which you've never even heard of. That's where I come in. I'm Lucious T. I've been playing games since the age of 2, and I have no life. This is Retroactive.
Chrono Trigger and I have an interesting relationship. I actually played through this game in 2014 and got all the way to the fated Hour chapter before I stopped because I had been playing it on an emulator, and the way it worked is I played Earthbound on an emulator and then I played Chrono Trigger on an emulator, but then I got a physical copy of the game called Treasure of the Rudras, which I then popped in and immediately wanted to play, and then I played Super Metroid and Sky Blazer and a bunch of the other games that I had started picking up. And at that point, with most RPGs, if you leave it for a long enough time, it's hard to go back. And specifically, I remember getting to the part where you could kind of go and do all the side quests, and I ran into the desert zombie kind of skeleton guy side quest and couldn't figure out how to do any damage on him, and that frustrated me. And I just never went back to it. So I didn't realize how close to the end I was when I stopped. I pretty much got 4/5 through the game. I could have beaten it right there. So starting through it fresh this time, it was nice that I knew exactly where to go. I knew where the game was going, and it's just so well crafted. You start off as Chrono, you wake up, you go to the Millennium Fair, you run into this girl named Marl, she turns out to be Princess Nadia, and so on and so forth. You get sucked into a time portal, sends you back in time 400 years, and then you find out, her ancestors, blah blah blah. We're not going to do a summary of the story, we all know the game. It's just, the way the game works is so well structured. There's not much downtime, and there's really no grinding needed. Unlike most RPGs of the time, there's not random battles. It has more of a Secret of Mana feel where you can see the enemies, you touch them, and then you get put into a battle. And unlike any other RPG at the time, there is a combo system where you can have, once you have the active time battle happen, so you can do one move for Chrono, or you can do one move for Luca, one move for Marl, or you eventually will gain these dual attacks and then later triple attacks. And that's what you want to do. The first time I played it, I didn't do much of these. I did my standard fare where didn't use much of the magic, didn't use much of the items, just kind of did the random attacks. And I found the game a lot harder. And this time, I did the double attacks, I did the triple attacks, I used items like water, especially towards the end of the game. Once you understand when to use the items, the game becomes so much easier. Using the magic, most of the boss fights or most of the enemy fights are either only vulnerable to magic, or you can kill them with physical attacks. Like the zombie boss that I couldn't beat in the desert area was only vulnerable once you killed his center section, and then I believe he was only vulnerable to magic. And a lot of bosses did that, where they were super vulnerable to magic but nothing else. And if you realize that, you could just drop some magic attacks on them, and it was simple. The party composition was always ever changing. They would seamlessly put in alternate characters as you went throughout the story. Frog got his day, Ayla the cave woman got her day, you had the robot dude, he had great time, and it's just, you can switch party members whilst you are in the middle of dungeons. There's only one exception to that, where you get put onto the plane. You can't do it there, but everywhere else in the game you can. And that is such a great feature that it really just takes it to the next level, because you can switch party members on the fly. Most RPGs don't let you do that. You can only do that when you go to save spots or if you're going back to town. This one encourages it. And it's helpful because not every one of your allies can heal the group. My main party ended up being Frog, Ayla, and Chrono. Frog can do a group heal, but it's not very strong. And then Ayla can do a heal, but it's pretty much worthless. So I found myself with this group composition using the triple attack a lot, especially the game is very easy. The combat is not difficult. I grinded on the robot dude at the beginning of the game to get the upgraded two-handed sword for Chrono. I think I spent an hour doing that, 45 minutes. And I feel like doing that made the rest of the game super easy because I was always ahead of the curve. And another great thing about this game is that when you level your main party, the people that you're not using also level. So they don't get their technique points. The technique points are what eventually unlock their abilities. So if you have Cure, you get Cure 2, and so on and so forth. You get the triple attacks. But it keeps them around the same strength level, so you can switch in and out new party members. And especially in some of the areas where you're required to use, like if you haven't used Robot forever and then you go and do the mission where you have to use him, you're screwed. Not in this game. But I mainly used Ayla, Frog, and Chrono. That's how I ended up beating the game, and it really was their triple attack that just waylaid so much damage that trivialized most of all the fights. Made the game super easy, but so enjoyable. It's so enjoyable. The story beats, the fact that Marlon her problems with her dad, Luca with her mom getting handicapped, and you have a chance to even stop it, which unfortunately I couldn't do. I didn't know what I did wrong. Robo with his family turning on him, and then later you meet his girlfriend that he has to betray, and Frog having his best friend sacrifice himself and then having to redeem that arc because he felt like a coward. Like, this has real stakes in the Super Nintendo game, and it's seamless. And even Chrono, even though he's mainly a silent protagonist, they all have distinct personalities, distinct looks, and are all fun to use. Chrono and Frog are kind of similar with how they attack, and then the magic, you have the lightning magic, water magic, fire magic, and then shadow magic. And then there's Magus, who's one of the main villains of the game, who you can actually recruit to your team. Now, he really is not fleshed out as far as being part of the group, but as far as having him, he has super strong magic. It's fun to use, but I never could get around to liking playing with him, just because, I don't know, he didn't have the same appeal as the other guys because he shows up so late in the game. But all in all, wonderful presentation, so seamless, you never got stuck, you never had to grind. I think the hardest battle in the game was the twin golems, and once you realize that if you just chain cast magic on them, that they can't do their ridiculous half health and then just destruction attacks, makes it a lot more manageable, because that's what happens in the game. That's one gripe I will say, is that they rely far too much on, oh, you lose half your health, that's the attack, half your health gone. Or later there's a life shaver where it shaves you down to 1 health. Especially in the final temple, you have that boss fight where you have to use the Mega Elixirs. Now, luckily, you can steal a Mega Elixir, or you get a Mega Elixir after you beat that particular boss. With the time travel aspect, there's 7 different time frames. There's the end of time, there's the future, there's the present, there's the Dark Ages, the Middle Ages, and the Prehistoric Ages. And then there's the place where Lavos is, Lavos being the main villain. But you don't ever go there except for the final battle. And if you open up chests in the past, it then takes them away in the future. Now, I always read about this, I never understood what it meant. Basically, it means that you can open up a chest in the present and then also go back in time and open it in the past. And by doing that, you can get super powerful items. Now, the game doesn't tell you that, but the game will prompt you where you get this powered necklace and it says, oh, your powered necklace reacts to the item. Do you want to take it? Don't do it. You want to power it up and then you want to travel in time forward, open the item, then get the super powerful item. And that's also part of the reason why I think the game was so easy for me, is because I knew that going in, so I was able to get the powerful moon armor and some of the other things, the prism helmets and whatnot. All in all, I could go on and on about how smartly crafted it is. It's funny, it's kind of what Mystic Quest tried to do as far as making a beginner's friendly RPG, because it really has all of the beats that makes so much sense why someone would love it so much, because you can see the enemies, there's no random battles, there's not much grinding, if any, required. It's very simple with telling you, like I like, which armor's better, which attacks are better, so on and so forth. You know, oh, if it's stronger, equip it, and that's it. The accessories are kind of hit or miss, but for the most part, you don't mess with them that much. Your party members level up with you. You can switch them out whenever you want. There's a lot of people in your team who can heal. It's so good, and the fact that there's a New Game Plus with all the different alternate endings, which I got the ending where the cat jumps into the portal. I think that's one of the better endings, because I did everything. If I was going to give this game a rating, I mean, I'm not going to give it a 10, but I'm going to give it a 9.5, because it is that good. Few minor complaints, like I said, with the combat. It is a little too easy, but also the flow was so good. it's pretty much when I got to the end of the game where the faded hour where you have to go around and do all the side quests. I kind of wish some of that stuff was implemented into the main story because it's flowed so well that I wanted to continue on that instead of having to go and now search out other things to do. But excellent game, highly recommend it. I hate that the game is so damn expensive, but you can play it on various other venues or get it on other systems. But even like the DS version is more expensive now, so it's crazy. But anyways, pick it up, skip it, or emulate it. I gotta say pick it up, but if you can't pick it up, for sure emulate it. But pick it up. And there you have it, Chrono Trigger. Phenomenal game. I don't have to tell you that. One of the best games I've played in a long time. So well structured, so well put together, such great, memorable characters. It's easy for me to see why people think this is one of the greatest games of all time. You take what I just played and you pair it with a heavy dose of nostalgia. There's no way anything could be better than this. There's gripes with it, as I pointed out, but by and large, it is a perfect RPG and a perfect example of what a Super Nintendo RPG can be. Great game. Let me know what you think of Chrono Trigger. Let me know what you think of this month's theme. And try and guess what else is coming. I'm doing some other heavy hitters that I've been wanting to play for years. As always, it's been so great getting a hold of you guys. Take care.